Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here.
There are no strings on me.
So I'm here to talk about the big movie to kick off the summer 2015 blockbuster season. That, of course, is the movie that everybody saw on opening weekend except for me and my fiance, because we just didn't want to go along with the crowds. We wanted a much more quieter atmosphere so we could watch the movie. But that is Marvel's Avengers Age of Ultron, the second to last piece of the second phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Granted, we all keep forgetting there's one more installment to finish Phase 2 and kick off Phase 3. Now, I'm going to be doing something very interesting. I'm actually going to be giving you guys my star review before I actually talk about the movie, because this review is going to contain spoilers. So before I actually go into that, because you really can't talk about this movie without going through a couple of things that occurred, because they're very, very closely tied towards my opinions on what I thought about this movie. But I will give you guys an overall thought in regards to Avengers Age of Ultron, and this is it. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was definitely a great big screen experience. I'm looking forward to adding it to my Marvel Cinematic Universe DVD collection. However, I do agree with most of the people out there, because I did see a lot of reviews that were spoiler-free before I went to go see this, and I will have to go with the major consensus saying that this movie does have its flaws. While it is enjoyable, I don't feel that it is better than the first Avengers film, and I'm going to be giving this movie, Avengers Age of Ultron, 3 out of 4. So that's the non-spoiler opinion, everybody. So if you don't want to see any spoilers because you may not have seen this movie yet, please turn the video off now, and thank you very much for watching. So Avengers Age of Ultron is definitely not as good as the first one. To me and my fiance, who went to go see it with me, we both agreed that this movie was definitely a big filler, just because of the fact that there's a much bigger story forming now. So it was still great to see all of these great characters come together and fight a new evil, this time incarnated in the form of this big robot named Ultron, who was voiced brilliantly by James Spader. I absolutely love James Spader. But everybody, once again, got their screen time individually, together as a team. There were great comedic moments, just like there always have been since the very first Iron Man, and there were even a lot of big surprises. I really was glad to see that Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon in Winter Soldier, actually did make an appearance in the film. It was also really great to see the very first action sequence in this movie actually flows right from where the last episode of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finishes off, where Phil Coulson says, "We have to send in the Avengers," and of course it was all a big battle of fighting Baron von Strucker and Hydra. And that's what I love about what Marvel is doing right now, just closely linking all of these movies along with their television show, and of course now their Netflix show counterparts. I thought that the addition of Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and finally Paul Bettany getting a human form, even though he's not playing a human, in the Vision, were all fantastic. I really appreciated the fact that they got the right amount of screen time, and I'm really excited to see where their characters are going to be in the next few films as they move on. And I was also very happy to see a lot of the links with the other movies. There was a Guardians of the Galaxy link, there was an Iron Man link, there was a Thor link, especially because of the fact that with Thor, there was a lot of foreshadowing for the next Thor movie, which is called Thor Ragnarok, and also seeing Idris Elba was absolutely awesome. And that's pretty much all the good stuff about this movie. The action sequences were great. There was also a lot of great character development, especially with backstories. And you got the mid-credits scene with Thanos. I was happy with what happened there. And I'm, of course, looking forward to seeing Ant-Man when it comes out. I really think that it's going to be a good movie as well. But now let's talk about the things I didn't like about this movie. First of all, I want to say something against everybody that has been knocking the love story between Black Widow and the Hulk. I personally had no issue with that, and that's just because of the fact that maybe nobody else noticed it, but I noticed a spark between them since Black Widow first had to bring Hulk in to join the Avengers. So I had a feeling that something like this was going to happen. However, they kind of turned her into the damsel in distress. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved her backstory, but she seemed to be not as much of a badass as she was, especially coming off her performance in Winter Soldier, and I do believe that character development is important, but you really shouldn't turn her into this truly somber, helpless woman, because she's really not that kind of a person. I was very upset that certain characters did not get the screen time that they deserved, especially Falcon and War Machine. War Machine hasn't been getting good screen time since the very first Iron Man, and that really, really upsets me, because he's just as an integral part of the Avengers storyline as everybody else is. So I'm really upset that Rhodey has just not gotten the screen time that he deserves, even though the action sequences that he does have are great. That's still something that is kind of bugging me to a certain degree. I also did not appreciate the whole story with Ultron. A lot of people did feel that he was weak. I did feel that he was a little bit weaker. I didn't like the fact that his mouth moved. I felt that if they actually would have stuck to the way he is in the comics and even in the cartoon, where he's just a computerized voice rather than actually having his mouth move. I also feel they made him a little too human. I really thought that he was supposed to be this true, cold-blooded robot that had no sympathy for human life, yet he came off as more human than some of the actual humans in this story. I also hated the fact that Baron von Strucker was killed off too quickly. I really feel that he could have been a much more significant character, especially with Captain America Civil War coming up. Knowing that they actually are bringing Baron Zemo into the story, I feel that von Strucker would have been a very good thing to actually develop, especially because of the fact that he only had 10 minutes of screen time in this movie, and a mid-credits scene in Winter Soldier. I just really did not appreciate that. I also don't like the fact that a lot of people are telling me that there's going to be an extended edition DVD and Blu-ray release because of apparently this movie was cut to save some time. You know something? I would have been so satisfied with a 3-hour Avengers movie. So what if the consensus of the average movie-going public has the attention span of a teaspoon? It doesn't matter. You know something? You should give me a complete movie. Even though I disagree feeling that the movie was rushed, I was very upset that there was supposed to be more stuff. I think there was a Loki sequence that was supposed to actually take place along with more character development and great dialogue. Very upset that they basically had to cut corners for the purposes of hoping that they could retain attention from audiences. I feel that that is absolutely wrong and stupid, and I will still get the extended edition. I sure hope it's coming out on DVD and not just Blu-ray. So that was one of my major beefs with this film. And I also was very upset that they killed Quicksilver off. I mean, I really liked Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Elizabeth Olsen playing Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver respectively, but you didn't have to kill Quicksilver off. If you really wanted to kill him off right away, then they really shouldn't have had him in there in the first place. I don't know whether it's because Quicksilver was portrayed in the X-Men movie, which is owned by Fox, the fact that they couldn't even call them mutants when everybody clearly knows that they're mutants, didn't have any issues with the fact that they couldn't link them to Magneto, because quite frankly, like most mutants in the world of comics, they don't really stay with their parents. They're usually given to foster care, and their accents didn't bother me either. I don't know if they were Russian or German or Polish, but I had no issues because I still felt that their characters were rich, but I was very upset that Quicksilver was killed. But I am very excited to see where Scarlet Witch is going to be in the next movie, and I was also very happy with seeing at the very end that there is going to be another Avengers team, because like the comics, at one point in time, there were 2 Avengers teams. So that was pretty cool to actually see. All I can say is that it was a good movie for what it was. It wasn't the best. Very excited for Ant-Man, especially because of the fact that there were a lot of links to Ant-Man, like Andy Serkis playing Ulysses Klaue, and also a couple of links to Black Panther with Vibranium and Wakanda. So again, not the best movie that I've seen. Not even in my top 5 of the year. But am I glad that I saw it on the big screen? Oh, you bet you that I was happy that I saw it on the big screen. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'm glad that I was able to see this and give you guys my thoughts. And I'll see you in the next one, because there's plenty of great summer movies to review, and actions speak louder than words.